welcome everybody. Welcome to our first episode of J&J Sports Talk. We're super excited to produce our first podcast here. My name's Jaron Watson alongside
Jake Oldenkamp.
We are going to be talking about a recap of last week's Iowa State game. Talk about Georgia and Alabama and just kind of some of the key losses that happened last week, some upsets, and then cover the Heisman watch, who's kind of peeking out this season, and then cover the Big 12 matchups this coming week. So we're super excited. We're gonna kick it off with some recap of the Iowa State game versus Houston last week. Very, very slow start on the offensive side. I mean, just couldn't get anything going. No rush game. Absolutely no pass game at all. Kind of started to figure out in the second half, but to say the least, our defense absolutely performed great. What do you got to say about this, Jake?
I thought, obviously, Rocco struggled early, but the rush game was there for the majority of the game. Jalen Jackson looked good with 96 yards rushing, and he had that long 50-yard run, and then Abu was struggling, and then he finally broke a 77-yard touchdown and ended up with 101 yards. Noel exited the game with cramping. He should be good to go, but it sounded like he should be good for this week, but he didn't play the rest of the game really. And then obviously the defense with the losses at linebacker of Will McLaughlin's out and Caleb Bacon got hurt. The freshman Kelbrazina looks great, and Cooper Evils stepped up, led the team in tackles. I think the secondary looks very strong. Malik Verdon is playing out of his mind. He had that forced fumble. And then John Tez and Jeremiah both got interceptions. So overall, from the defense, it was quite the performance.
Yeah, I was very impressed by the defense last game. I mean, Rio going into halftime, like, can't complain when the offense can't get anything going. So for the defense to be able to, withstand their offensive side and just keep it together, I was super impressed and very pleased. But yeah, pretty solid second half last week.
Yeah, you always take a 20-0 victory on the road in the Big 12.
Right, shutout win is very, very nice to see. So
First time 4-0 since the year 2000, I think. So
let's keep it rolling, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, another game that super big last week. Georgia Alabama, obviously probably the game of the week. Saw Bama with the fast start going up. What was it? 20-0 at least.
28-0.
28-0. And then Georgia just put on the gas and came back. Actually took the lead in the fourth quarter. And then, of course, the absolute phenom out of Ryan Williams here from Alabama, 17-year-old wide receiver, just putting up hella numbers. I mean, I'm starstruck by this guy, 17-year-old. What do you got to say?
He's crazy. That catch he had for the touchdown to take the lead back. But it was 28-0, and we were watching the ISU game, and we had turned this game off, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, I saw that Georgia took the lead, so I started watching. But Carson Beck struggled early. He had 3 interceptions in the game, but he did finish over 400 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So I think Georgia will definitely bounce back, but Alabama and Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams, they look very solid.
Looking very good. That was a crazy game. I mean, just absolutely wild. Those back-to-back drives where Georgia had the 2 passes for a touchdown, and then Alabama bounced back with a 1. Just absolutely wild. But we got Ole Miss, Kentucky upset Ole Miss. Missed field goal from Ole Miss to lose the game. That was a crazy drive on that they had a fourth and 12, 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And had a 30-yard pass to the tight end in the middle of the field. I don't know. That was a crazy drive. I thought Jackson Dart rolled out of the pocket on that fourth down, and I thought he was never good. But great throw, great catch out of the tight end. The offense did the job, just couldn't get get her done. Special teams field goal miss, but I don't know. I thought Kentucky looked pretty solid against Ole Miss. Thought they played pretty well on the defensive and offensive side, but yeah,
They coming off that tough loss against Georgia, they almost beat Georgia. Now they beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss offense didn't look as good as I thought it would with Jackson Dart. It seemed a little off the whole game, but in the end, Kentucky took the win. Ole Miss, that's going to hurt their playoff resume going forward.
it's a good one for Kentucky though.
And then also going into the Heisman watch, I don't know. I think it kind of, even just the loss hurts Jackson Dart's
Yeah,
stock.
most definitely.
And the top four guys I have for the Heisman right now are Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, and then Cam Ward, who had a rough game, but still up there. Jalen Milroe and Travis Hunter from Colorado.
Couldn't agree more. It's a great top four for the Heisman watch. Yeah, I see. I mean, right now, Jalen Milroe is just. I think he is a great leader on the field and just can just lead a whole entire offense. I mean, I like where he's at for the Heisman watch. I probably got him at one as of right now, but I think he's got the lead right now.
Yeah, leads the team in passing and rushing. Uh, 10 touchdowns, only one interception this year, 8 rushing touchdowns. Can't ask for much more, but
Can do it all.
guy out in Boise, Ashton
Yeah.
Jeanty, 259 rushing yards this week and 4 touchdowns against Washington State. He's averaging over 200 yards per game, 13 touchdowns on the year.
Going crazy.
It's hard to not give it to him right now.
Gotta give him some credit.
That's who I would have as my number one right now.
845 yards in 4 games. Absolutely nuts. I mean, tack on 13 TDs as well. Just he's having a hell of a season. So
And then what Travis Hunter's doing on both sides of the ball, just playing outstanding both ways.
I mean, that's very impressive for some dude playing both ways and performing the way he is on both sides of the ball. So can't shoot him down at all. He's a great player. But,
Speaking of Travis Hunter in Colorado, big win for Colorado. 2 touchdown underdogs on the road at UCF. Shador looked great. It shows what he can do, and he gets time in the pocket. I feel like UCF didn't really rush him very hard as they should have. Uh, Obviously, Travis Hunter had 9 receptions and 89 yards, and a touchdown and an interception. So, yeah. What do you think? What were your thoughts on that game?
yeah, Colorado came out super strong. I don't know. I thought UCF was gonna get something going with the rush game. I mean, you can't. It wasn't bad by any means, but they just couldn't really get much going. I think Colorado's offense just really took control in that game and really just went for it all. I mean, that was a great performance out of Colorado, and I don't know. We'll see what UCF does the rest of the season, but I don't know. Very disappointing for them. I think a lot of people were high on them, and to come out like that and just not perform the way they did, just kind of upset.
Yeah,
And disappointed a lot of people.
it was probably the first game in Coach Prime's era that they've looked like they can hold their own on the offensive line and defensive line. I thought that was the main key, and then they held R.J. Harvey for UCF to only 77 yards when he has over 100 per game usually, and KJ Jefferson threw 2 interceptions. Going into this game, UCF was thought of to be one of the top teams in the Big 12 to compete. They proved that they were a little bit fraudulent.
Yeah, definitely just did not perform. I mean, I think a lot of people liked them at home too. I mean, having the home field advantage essentially just did not come out and perform at all. I mean, Colorado looked great. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. So.
Yeah.
Talking about UCF though, heading into this week's games, solid recap from the games last week, but We got UCF at Florida, 6:45 p.m. kick. UCF coming at 2.5. They I don't know. I don't. I mean, we'll see if UCF can bounce back. I mean, they're going on the road to a decent Florida Gators team. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think R.J. Harvey, definitely comes back and has a bounce back game. I mean, he's a skillful player, so I just don't see him, getting held to 73 yards like he did last week. But I don't know. I mean, Florida, Florida's not looking awful. I guess. I mean,
No,
not great, but
I mean the two losses, two good teams, Miami and Texas A&M, both doing really well to start off the year. And I mean, I was kind of surprised to see UCF favored on the road after a loss to Colorado, where they didn't look very good.
yeah, that is kind of surprising to me as
I
well.
think Florida could probably win this game. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, especially having them at home. I mean, UCF coming off a disappointing loss, and now they've got to go to Florida. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a great game. It's going to be close, and I think both teams will stay in until the end. But I could definitely see Florida coming out with it at the end.
Yeah, and then moving to since UCF doesn't really they don't play a Big 12 opponent, we'll move into the real Big 12 games this week, starting on tomorrow night, Friday night. Houston at TCU. TCU 16-point favorites. I think TCU is a sleeper team right now. They were up big on UCF, lost that game, but if they win that, they're undefeated in the Big 12 still. They coming off a win against KU, who is not looking too hot to start the year,
Struggling.
their quarterback Josh Hoover is playing very well. Only 4 interceptions to 14 touchdowns, over 300 yards per game, and their wide receiver Josh Beck over 100 yards per game with 6 touchdowns on the year. Houston is just dead in the water.
Yeah, they
I
are.
mean, their offense is they have no passing game. Running those two quarterbacks, I don't know how far that's going to get them this year.
I mean, their rush game isn't great either. That's like the one thing that's kind of keeping them in these games. I mean, not even really in the games, I
Their
guess, but
defense, their
yeah,
defense is pretty
defense is
solid.
solid. Stopped Iowa State to 3.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, TCU definitely is a sleeper. I think I love TCU on the road here. Houston just has not shown
TCU's
anything.
at home.
I mean, no, TCU at home, sorry.
That's
And again, like I said, I just don't think Houston has shown me anything. But I think 16. What do you think about that line? It's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
points, but
I mean, Houston coming off back-to-back shutouts and a 34-point loss and then 20. I mean, they might just roll over to TCU. I feel like if Josh Hoover gets going, it could be a rough game
yeah,
for Houston.
I could see TCU cover the spread here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tight line. Probably it's a good line where it's at, but see what happens. Moving into Oklahoma or West Virginia at Oklahoma State, 3 p.m. game. I don't know. West Virginia beat KU. Obviously, KU struggling this year. Not not performing the way people were probably expecting them to. But West Virginia lost to Pitt and Penn State. Two losses that you can't really complain about. I mean, Penn State's pretty solid this year.
They let that Pitt game get away from them. They wish they probably had that back. They were up like 10 in the fourth quarter, but I think West Virginia is they coming off a bye. They haven't played in a week, but I think this is a game that shows them what they're made of. I think Oklahoma State really struggling so far. Ollie Gordon only had 76 yards last week. He's not doing so hot, and Alan Bowman is really struggling. Yeah, they expected him to be just at least a game manager, but like he's throwing picks, inaccurate. just got blown out by Kansas State. I don't know.
I thought that was gonna be. I thought that game was gonna stay close too. I
Yeah.
mean, Oklahoma State just did not look good at all against K
No.
State. I
Garrett
mean, K State showed up and they played well, but Oklahoma State just had nothing to respond to.
Garrett Green for West Virginia hasn't really gotten going this year yet. Probably hasn't put up the numbers that people expect him to quite yet, but I feel like this could be breakout game on the road. 3-point underdogs. I think Oklahoma. This would bury Oklahoma State. They're already probably out of the playoff and Big 12 race with losses to Utah and K State because they'll hold tiebreakers over them. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think it could really flip the season for both teams. Oklahoma State, they last year similar situation. They lost to South Alabama, then they came to Ames and lost, and then rattled off like 10 in a row after that. They could do that, but it's got to start now probably for them.
Gonna really have to see what Oklahoma State can do. I mean, their offensive look terrible. Quite honestly, they just can't get anything going. So I don't know. I think, like you said, I think West Virginia. I think this could be a solid game for them. Kind of get them back up on their feet, going 3-2 now, and you know, getting in second game in Big 12 play. So kind of get them rolling. So
Then we go to Morgantown next weekend. That game scares me a lot. Night game already announced. They're wearing their Coal Rush uniforms, blackout. It could be a dicey game for the Cyclones.
Good on Morgantown.
If
Hopefully, don't get robbed like we did a few years back.
Yeah.
What? That was just crazy.
Well, luckily it's on Fox instead of ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Should at least have a little bit better camera angles this time.
And better announcers. Let me tell you, ESPN Plus announcers just really get to me sometimes. Oh my. Gotta mute the TV sometimes.
Yeah.
Put on them captions. No, definitely interesting game. I think. I mean, it's just gonna depend to see if Oklahoma State's offense can get back on their feet and show us what they can do. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I like West Virginia on the road there. Great spot.
I think.
At plus 3
Yeah,
so.
I think it'll be close. I would probably play the points with West Virginia.
Yeah, I agree. Rolling into Kansas at Arizona State, 7 p.m. kick. Going to be a night game. I mean, once again, talking about Kansas. I mean, lost 4 in a row, and I mean, just disappointing.
Yeah.
Can't get anything going.
Jalen Daniels, 5 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. I mean, he was a Heisman contender to start the year, and I think the injuries just stacked up, and he hasn't played in a year. They just look out of sorts. Lost to TCU in Arrowhead last week. I think they thought that when they scheduled Arrowhead, they were gonna be a good team and sell that thing out, but it's empty, and it's probably going to stay empty. They're 1-4. They won't make a bowl game. I don't think. Arizona State, they're 3-1. They lost to Texas Tech, but that's a tough game on the road. They have some good wins. They beat Mississippi State.
Solid one right there.
Their running back, he's pretty solid. Cam Scadaboo.
Gotta love that one.
He's been playing well this year. He's cooled off recently, but
133 yards on the season.
at the beginning of the year, he had against Mississippi State 262 yards and 262 yards, 33 carries. He's a workhorse for sure. They can get him going against Kansas. I feel like at home this would be a good way to open your Big 12 wins for Arizona State. -2.5. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
KU needs it desperately.
I think Arizona State at home is probably I just can't. Kansas just can't do anything. So
Yeah.
I mean, you playing Kansas, you get the line's going to be tight no matter what. I mean, unless obviously it's a better team.
Arizona State. But
I mean, talk about two matchups. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid matchup on both sides of the ball, but I could definitely see Arizona State cover this 2.5 spread here. I mean,
yeah.
Kansas just can't do much right now, so we'll see
Until
what they can do.
until Kansas proves us wrong, I guess I'm probably gonna bet against them.
Yeah.
And then the other game in Arizona this weekend, Big 12 after dark, Arizona, Texas Tech, 10 p.m. kickoff. Texas Tech, they're 2-0 in the Big 12. They just beat Cincinnati. That was a tight game. I think it's one possession in the 40s, something like that. Their quarterback, Morton, he's been playing well this year. Only 2 interceptions, 14 touchdowns. He's been balling. They got Taj Brooks back. Their only loss to Washington State, they didn't have him in that game. Uh, he had 100. He's at over 100 yards in the game he's played every game. 4 touchdowns.
He's looking,
Solid.
yeah, he's looking pretty solid. I mean,
If they can get their defense to tighten up a little bit, they could be a they could make some people sweat in the Big 12.
their offense is looking great. So they've got they've got they've got threats all around. Um, Morton having a great season, and I think he's got the guys around him to perform in the offensive end. I don't know. Arizona, great win on the road against Utah.
Yeah.
I think their quarterback at Arizona, not it's kind of average. I mean, just a mediocre quarterback, but he's
He
obviously
was he was very good last year, and they have that wide receiver
he's maintaining the game. But
McMillan. He's solid. I mean, that K State game when they lost, he obviously Fafita did not play very well, but that was not since it was scheduled before Arizona came to the Big 12. It technically wasn't a Big 12 game, so they're undefeated in the Big 12 standings still, which is interesting for the end of the year if they're in it. That could they could be tied with K State, and they wouldn't be able to use that tiebreaker. I don't think since it wasn't a conference game.
yeah, I don't know. I think the Arizona at -6.5. I mean, being at home definitely gives them the go ahead here. But I think if Texas Tech can shape up on the defensive end, I think this could be a very tight game and very close game to end the night.
Yeah, and then just talking about Big 12 overall, like Utah lost, BYU's undefeated still. Arizona's up there at the top, and K State and Iowa State. I feel like that's like probably top four right now.
BYU's looking pretty good, man.
Yeah, I think
I think they're gonna make a run for the in the Big 12 race this year. So
yeah, we'll see. They have to play Utah down the road, I know, and we'll see if they can keep rattling off wins. They beat KU or K State by 30, so
yeah. Well, and even then, we'll just see how. I mean, Utah. That's a tough loss against it's a tough loss for Utah. So
yeah, they need Cam Rising back, or else I don't think they're gonna.
is there any news? Like, is he coming back soon?
Well, they Kyle Whittingham, their coach. I saw an interview. People were questioning about if he's like just sitting out, and he was like, no, he wants to play more than anybody in the country. Like he wants to, but people in Utah are getting restless. They think he's just
not really much information.
sitting there. I mean, it's a hand injury. You would think it would be a pretty quick fix unless he broke something, which they won't tell us if he did. But people in Utah are just like, well, he's just sitting there cashing NIL checks.
Yeah, serious. Talk about NIL. Goodness.
I saw today former Iowa State commit Xavier Townsend, who plays at UCF, just decided he's redshirting for the year and entering the portal. Another one.
Classic. Good old transfer portal as well. You got you Oh, I just read something today. Actually, it was Ryan Williams on Alabama. He was at
I saw this.
756K in NIL money, and after the game against
His
Georgia,
like worth.
yeah, it like doubled.
Yeah.
His worth doubled to like 1.5
That
million.
guy's. I mean, he should be a senior in high school, and
And
he's dominating the SEC.
yeah,
I don't know.
he's crazy. I mean, I think it's awesome to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing this young 17-year-old just kick butt in one of the top conferences in college football. I mean, it's awesome to see and super cool. But yeah, he's a great player. Well,
Yeah.
rolling into Missouri at Texas A&M. Missouri just, I mean, they're getting by, but I haven't seen much. They haven't had much competition this year. Brady Cook, rough start. I mean, he just isn't the guy that he was last year. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, they've got a pretty solid running back, but I think this is the first challenge for Missouri, and you got Missouri on the road, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean they won off a missed field goal by Vandy. They didn't start very hot against Boston College. Now they're getting into the meat of the SEC schedule. They got Texas A&M this week on the road, 12th man, one of the best environments in college football. Texas A&M coming off the win at they win at Arkansas.
Yeah, they did.
They beat Arkansas. Yeah,
4-5.
their only loss is Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, first game of the season.
Yeah. So
I mean, first game of the season. And the thing is, they were at.
they can stay in this hunt for the playoff in the SEC if they control their destiny still. The
Yeah.
SEC will probably get 3, 4 teams in probably. You would think so.
I mean, I thought I really liked what I saw out of Noah Thomas. I mean, Cyrus Allen, their leading wide receiver on Texas A&M, didn't. He only had one reception for 22 yards, I believe, against Arkansas. And Noah Thomas had 6 receptions for over 100 yards and a TD. So I really liked what I saw out of him. I think Marcel Reed is definitely keeping the ball in good places and making the right reads. And obviously their run game is going well. So
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a tough challenge for Missouri. I think Texas A&M being at home will definitely help. I mean, if you watch a game, their environment is crazy. So I don't know.
I like Texas A&M. Just saying.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M is gonna show us what's up. I mean, you got Missouri coming in still undefeated at 4-0, but just haven't been playing, very well. So yeah, I like Texas A&M here. I think 2.5 is a great spot for them too. So I think they even cover that.
And then moving on to the whiteout.
Moving on to the whiteout night game,
Ames,
Jack
Iowa.
Trice Stadium, baby.
It's gonna be electric.
It's gonna be electric.
Pom poms handed out, fireworks, drone show.
Dude, that drone show is gonna be great.
Painting the field white and black.
That's what we live for.
That video today on Iowa State Equipment's Twitter.
Taking off the logo.
I have no idea.
What's it gonna be?
I feel like it's maybe the Ames logo, Jack Trice stripes, or Cyclones and script.
Yeah,
that's my top three.
All three of them would be great. I'm thinking it's gonna be the Jack Trice logo, just because that's kind of what they've been. It's kind of been like the favorite logo lately. I mean,
yeah,
it's been the one that you see most. But getting into the game, I guess. I mean, I'm super excited for it, but Jalen Jackson showing something last week. I mean, really liked what I saw out of him, and
all the running backs. I mean, I kind of like what they're doing with the 3 running backs. Hanson's playing well, and Abu has the home run ability. It seems like he's maybe just a bit slow in like hitting the hole and finding the hole, but that'll come over time. And Jalen Jackson just seems like he can wiggle his way for 5 yards every single time.
I do like that. 3. I mean, we just keep on rotating in and
And
out. So.
keeps the wear and tear down on each guy. Like, I mean, I don't see it as long as there's no like problems, like problems. Everyone's happy and not worried about how many carries they get. I would say just keep it rolling with that.
Yeah, I mean they have pretty solid rotation right now. I mean, I've liked what I saw of that running back crew lately. But
Yeah, I would like to see Iowa State get off to a fast start in this game.
maybe
I
play both
feel
halves.
like they've struggled in the first half, especially against clearly Iowa and then the Houston game too. They just need, I feel like a fast start in this game. Baylor will just roll over. They'll have the crowd. We'll have the crowd with us. It's gonna be electric.
Gotta love a night game in Jack Trice, especially the whiteout. But I mean, I like how our defense is playing well too. I mean, I don't know.
Which, I mean, they've they haven't played any good offense yet though. So this will be the best one they see. Which I mean, they're good. I wouldn't say they're great. They got Robertson, who's playing, who was their backup. Their starter transferred to Quan Finn, got hurt early in the year. But what do you got on Baylor?
I mean, struggled last week. Came back. Obviously, that was super cool to see. I mean, I thought BYU kind of just had it in the bag after going up by quite a bit there, but Baylor kept fighting for it. They came back and only lost by a touchdown, I believe, right? Yeah, I think it was only a
Yeah,
touchdown, but
they were down 28-0 or something like that.
yeah, I mean, I liked what I seen out of that Robertson so far. I mean, last week had a rough one, only 2 picks of the season. Hasn't thrown any of the past games, but last week just kind of struggled. I mean, their wide receiving core playing well. I mean, that's in my opinion really only the thing that's kind of keeping them in these games. I mean, I haven't seen much out of their rush game so far. So I mean, I think and then again, I love Iowa State's defense in their secondary. I mean, I
Yeah.
think they're lockups right
Yeah.
now. So when I look at this game, I think Iowa State's got the edge on the offensive end due to Iowa State's defense and secondary playing so well lately, and I think Iowa State gets it done on both sides of the ball a little better than Baylor here.
I
But
feel like though Baylor could come out ready to go. I mean, Dave Aranda is. If they would have not came back last game and they just got blown out against BYU, he might have gotten fired right there.
yeah, serious.
If this is a blowout, he could get fired. So maybe there's a thing where like they're playing for their coach a little bit, a little extra motivation for him.
Right.
But should be a good one. I think. I think we'll win by at
Yeah,
least 13.
yeah. 13. I mean, it's probably the right spot. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in
I'd say
Jack,
I'd say we win 2 touchdowns easy.
Jack, and white out. So,
Yeah.
I think that line's pretty solid. I think that line's gonna be a close one as well. I mean, Iowa State. I think Iowa State's definitely gonna pull this one off. But at 13, I don't know. I mean, I definitely see it happening, but who knows what happens? I mean, we'll see what Baylor's offense can do and see what their defense can do to contain our pass and rush. But
Well, I have one thing. New segment.
new segment. Here we go.
3 picks for the week.
3 picks.
Let's see. Should we do
I'd say just any game, or should we
like
just do the ones that we
should
covered?
we do like pick like who wins or based off the spread?
I say this. You can do money line,
Okay, yeah.
over under,
All
or
right. You want to go first? You want me?
yeah.
Should we do games?
Should we do these games?
Yeah, games we cover.
Alright. New segment, everybody. Here we go. We're giving you our favorite plays here. All right. My favorite pick of this week is gonna have to be Texas A&M to cover 2.5. I really love Texas A&M at home, and I think Missouri has. I haven't seen much out of them. Brady Cook just isn't the same guy as last year, and like I said, I don't think if Missouri is gonna be able to take down the Aggies at home in that environment. So that's my first one.
My first pick. I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna take Oklahoma State -3 at home. I think
Wow.
they bounce back, and They get Ollie Gordon going. Alan Bowman plays well. They're at home. Big conference game. I don't know if West Virginia is quite there yet. I'm going to take Oklahoma State -3.
Yes. Oh man. What do we got here? Another one.
Let's just do two because we don't have that many games this week on our thing.
Probably my next one. Honestly, dude, I'm gonna have to bring her home. Ames, Iowa, baby. Give me Iowa State Cyclones -13, covering 2 touchdowns at home in a whiteout night game. I love it. I think
Great pick.
Iowa State takes control there and gets it done in Jack.
And then for my second pick, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna ride with the Jayhawks money line.
Jayhawks money line.
Kansas gets it figured out on
Taking
the
the
road.
0-4 team on the road.
They're gonna get it rolling. 2-4. Here they come.
Wow.
Gonna make a push for a bowl game.
What a pick.
Jalen Daniels
Figure
coming
it out?
back.
Does he figure it out this
Yeah, he
weekend?
does.
He figure it out? Oh man, disappointing season out of Kansas, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully
I think they turn it around.
they do.
I don't think Arizona State's that great. I think if they're gonna get it turned around, this would be the game.
They're on for. They've got to do it now.
Yeah.
I think this is the game they've got to do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
It's been fun.
It's been fun. This concludes our first episode of the podcast. We are planning on doing a podcast every Thursday, recap, and reviewing the matchups in the Big 12 for the next week, the upcoming week. So we look forward to getting back at it on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. It was fun. We'll see you next week.
Peace.